Konnichiwa.
I am Akemi, and this is the first video out of a series about lesson study. The initial idea is to give an overview about lesson study that is practiced in Japan, its origin, and its main characteristics. Let's start! Lesson study is a professional development mode made by Japanese teachers which aims at improving learning methods for primary school students through efficient teaching. It has been practiced in Japan since late 19th century and early 20th century. In Japan, lesson study is called Jugyo Kenkyu. What do researchers say? There is no agreement in the academic scientific literature about whether lesson study is a method, an approach, a strategy, a process, or a model for teachers' training. Howsoever, lesson study relies on the culture of Japanese people and it enriches and practices the collaboration among education participants. In lesson study, the teachers study the curricular contents and materials and how they must teach them according to their participation in collaborative planning, observation, and subsequent critical discussion about the outcomes in the students' learning process. How does this happen? The starting point is the study of the curriculum and goal setting by a group of teachers in order to improve the students' development in learning process. These teachers may or may not be from the same educational institution. Other professionals may also be part of this collaborative planning, such as pedagogues, the school principals, and so on. After choosing the curricular content along with the learning set of goals, the group starts a long and deep lesson planning collaboratively. The lesson plan in lesson study is not the way we know or the way we are used to at schools. It is a lesson planning with specific ingredients culminating in a research lesson. The lesson planning involves describing the class progress, predicting the time and specific actions of the students and the teacher's expectations of the students' reactions and difficulties, the flow of the knowledge building process by the students, and how they expect to end the class with the learning synthesis about the purpose of the class. With the elaborate planning from a class to a research lesson, it's time to practicing. Then, the entire group of professionals that planned the lessons watches the plan being put into practice by one of them without interfering. The group observes and takes note about the teaching impacts on the students' learning process. This is also a moment to collect the data for the class evaluation, which might be notes, student response records, recordings of dialogues, etc. The class may also be observed by other professionals from other educational institutions or by those from the same institution who didn't participate in the lesson planning. As soon as the class finishes, the group of observers and the teacher get together to share the collected information, to reflect about the outcomes on students' learning process, and to discuss about general issues on teaching and learning process to support consistent and in-depth discussions at subsequent opportunities on the lesson theme. At this point, the teacher who taught the class begins the reflection with the self-assessment on the planned didactic sequence and on the predicted strategies compared to the executed ones. Sometimes the lesson study gets some help from a professional known as knowledgeable author. The knowledgeable author is usually a teacher or an expert with knowledge both in the content taught as in the direct pedagogical subjects. He or she watches that class and gives his or her contributions to the improvement of the teaching method and to those professionals. The knowledgeable author is not necessarily someone who has the highest academic degrees. What matters is the highest level of experience about the teaching practice and the content domain. In general, the lesson study is a cyclic process that is, after a round of curriculum study and goal setting, planning of how these goals will be implemented, application of the proposals in class, and reflection about the results achieved, the cycle may be repeated considering the improvements and adaptations to the new students group. As the new round will occur in a higher maturity level, I understand the process as a spiral, considering that its application in a future moment of the educational program will be at a higher maturity level after previous experiences. Well, these are some general characteristics of lesson study. However, there is much more to say and know about it. I'll see you in the next videos. Arigatou gozaimasu!